Oh, I'm not able to do that. So Patanjali says, if you don't have it, first of all, develop that. Is it? So that is why all these activities like asana reduces the rajoguna, pranayama reduces the tamoguna, pratyahara controls the senses, then your mind is more and more sattvic. You try to strengthen this sattvic aspect of your mind by doing more and more meditation. Ekakra, in which you start with dharana, take an object, meditate upon that. Slowly it matures to a stage called dhyana, in which you are able to remain with the object continuously for the entire duration of your meditation, and ultimately, if you are lucky, you will be able to reach a stage called samadhi, where you even forget yourself. Only the object remains to your mind. So this capacity Patanjali wants us to develop if you are very serious about it. You know why? Because the nature of the self is so subtle, even to understand it at the intellectual level is difficult. The reason why, not that I am not capable, but because I am constantly distracted. From the morning to the night, my mind is distracted with the outside world. There is very little time I give for what goes on. So at least during the period of time you practice yoga for an hour or so, if you are able to properly design, program, you do your asanas, do your pranayama. When you do asana and pranayama, what happens? Asanas reduce the rajoguna, pranayama reduces the tamoguna, then you are ready for meditation. Sit down and meditate. Exactly is what my guru used to do, ask us to do. The 1 hour class I have, he will ask us to do half an hour of asana practice, 15 minutes of pranayama, then the last 15 minutes he will just take 1 or 2 sutras, or he will sit down and chant, or stay in Shanmukhi Mudra Pratyahara for a period of time. So the whole idea should be that when I learn yoga, I should learn in an integrated manner. Because mere asanas will not do. Mere asanas is good, not good enough. Asanas are necessary. Asanas are, if I am not healthy, I cannot meditate. I have to be healthy. I have to do asanas. What do asanas do? They improve the blood circulation, rakta sanchara. They also, if we do it with proper breathing, it improves the prana sanchara. So that means what happens? Your body is healthy. Unless I am healthy, I will not be able to sit down and meditate. If I am not healthy, what happens? My mind, you can close your, close the door, sit down in a room, but if the body is sick, it will distract your mind. The body will distract your mind. So I should be able to completely be free of the distractions of the body. That's why you do asana. Then the mind cobwebs are there, that's supposed to be removed by pranayama. The depression, I can remove the, physically strong, but what about the depression? So I must start feeling good every day. That is supposed to be done by pranayama. That is supposed to be done by pranayama. When I do pranayama, what happens? I feel good. For that particular, at the end of your pranayama, you feel good. Then the samskara develops. Keep on doing pranayama. Then on a day-to-day basis that you have been able to feel good. You didn't need anything from outside. You didn't need anything at all. You are able to find that, there is a, suppose you want to call it peace center in your mind, you are able to get it by doing your pranayama. Then what happens? You don't stop with that. With that peaceful mind, you start meditating. You practice your dharana, dhyana and samadhi, and ultimately you will be able to. So this is a very, very well thought out, not only thought out, well developed system, not merely thought out, just developed over a lot of. Unfortunately, for some reason or other, the holistic nature of yoga is not, brought out. It's nothing wrong with that. At least you make a beginning. Many people start coming to yoga, first of all, with asana. They like that. Youngsters especially, the various, postures that the body can do. You are impressed by that. You want to do that. Yes, you start there. There are some people who come there to calm the mind. They think of meditation. They think of pranayama. Some people will want to go on the spiritual path. They would like to read the theory and then sit down and meditate on it. Whatever be the starting point, ultimately all of us will have to know the whole system so that the system can be useful to us. What time is it? 11. Yes, almost there. So, yoga according to Patanjali, is yoga means samadhi or samadhana. The purpose of yoga is getting absolute peace of mind. So, many times contemporary writers, they say in Patanjali Yoga Sutra commentary, they say yoga is union. And then immediately say that yoga is Chitta-vritti Nirodha. In Chitta-vritti Nirodha, where is the union? You are talking only about the Chitta. The vritti should be taught. We are talking about only one principle. We are not talking about the union between the Purusha and Prakriti. We don't talk about it. So unfortunately, there is, in Yoga Sutras, the word yoga means peace of mind. In Hatha Yoga, yoga means union of prana and apana. In Bhakti Yoga, it is the union of Jivatma and Paramatma. In Kundalini Yoga, it is the union between the Shakti and Shiva Tattva. So you got to understand that these things. Doesn't mean that other Hatha Yoga is not useful for, no, it is useful because a lot of the things that, Raja Yoga, Patanjali Yoga, it presupposes that you have an understanding of the other system. In fact, Hatha Yoga Pradipika itself says that we have created this system, is mainly to help those people who want to go along the path of Raja Yoga. There are so many ways we can try to understand. Sometimes we try to understand it by the elaborating on the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. How the various activities help us to reduce the undesirable non-yogic qualities of rajas and tamas, so that my sattva will become more and more dominant. So there are two goals for yoga, in Patanjali Yoga. First of all, I must reduce the, dominance of rajas or tamas. If I'm highly rajasic, what happens? I'm restless. I go after power, I go after possessions. If in tamasic, what happens? I'm depressed. How do I try to remove my depression? By going for sensual gratification. These are the two things. Both of them are not going to lead far. After some time, when the senses lose their acuity, what happens? There is nothing inside me. There is nothing inside me which can give me happiness. You understand what I say? After some time, this is going to happen. Those people who are going to depend entirely on the senses for happiness, after some time they start with the law of diminishing return. My eyes are not as good as ever. I can't hear properly. That's a blessing sometimes. These are the various things that are happening there. So these two are possessions and power, they come and go. You cannot be reliant on that. So the only thing that you can rely on are your own self. I have to rely upon this. So right from as early as possible, one has to start this. You can still continue to have your activities. You don't have to run away from your family. My father was, my guru was a family man. At the same time, there is a certain amount of, time you spend for your own self, your own development. You don't have to make, other people unhappy to find your own happiness. You can still do that. So this way, if you can develop a very solid yoga practice as early as possible, that is why in the Hatha Yoga, in the Raja Yoga, they say Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means study. You have to study. I must know what yoga system, yoga is, before I will be able to make use of it. If I want to become a medical person, what should I do? I should study for 7 years or 8 years, understand everything about the body. Where is pancreas? Where is this? Where is that? All these things I must know. Even when you wake me from my sleep, I should be able to locate my kidney. So all these things I should be thorough with that. Likewise in yoga also, when you want to make yoga a very, very important aspect of your life, you must try to study, swadhyaya, study, understand, discuss with friends. Any doubts you try to check with your guru. Sometimes they are able to. Do you have any questions?
I have.
Yes, please.
I just want to know the correct way of breathing, because sometimes I know that it is only the lungs which should be involved in breathing. Sometimes I get to know that you need to involve the stomach as well and
Yes.
So what is the correct way of breathing?
Yeah, the whole thing is the entire breathing process, requires using your intercostal muscle, using your diaphragm. When you want to do your diaphragm, naturally the stomach muscles and the pelvic muscles also come into play. So that is why you got to use the whole system. The breathing is not merely the intercostal muscles, the diaphragm, So if you want to, again, different types of pranayama are there. If you want to, so depending upon the requirements, there are various pranayamas. So normal breathing, there is a slight distension of the diaphragm, slight stretching of the intercostal muscles, but now we try to slowly increase it. You inhale so well so that the intercostal muscles stretch very well, and try to hold it so that, in fact, the main purpose of breathing here is not only to improve your lung capacity or oxygen intake, it is also to help the heart. When you really expand the chest, there is there is a partial vacuum created in the thoracic cavity. So when that happens, what happens? Air goes into the lungs, but blood also through the veins rush to the heart. So you help the heart also by good pranayama practice. Of course, I didn't answer your question, but still. What I'm trying to say is there are different, the whole thing is slowly expand increase the range. Your intercostal muscles should slowly expand. Your diaphragm should come down well, and diaphragm also should go very deep into the thoracic cavity by doing your bandhas. So all of them are interrelated. We have got to look at the effect. We got to look at the effect, not just should I do this or should I do that? What does it do? If I use my diaphragm, what does it do? If I use my pelvic floor, what does it do? Right.
Actually, I just want to button. We had given these blank sheets to you to write down questions in case you have any. In case you have written it down, then you can hand it over to one of us. And anyone else?
I'm going to be here until 12, so you better give me some questions.
Feel free to ask him directly also.
Thank you. The role of guru in yoga practice, yes. Some people need more instructions. Some people need less instruction. When you go to school, what happens? Some boys are bright. They make it. They manage it on their own. Some people require more. So it is up to the guru to find out the level of the student, teach whatever is most appropriate at that particular, and then slowly develop. So the guru is more, is necessary. Guru. In fact, even formally, you need. If supposing you are a born yogi, even then you need a guru. But then the extent of guru's involvement will vary from individual to individual. But you need a guru. Doesn't mean that you got to. If you are already doing very well, the guru will be able to understand that you are an exceptionally talented student, and he will direct you properly. If you are a beginner, if your goal is limited, I go to a teacher and then say, because I got a neck problem, I want that to be. Can yoga help me? I don't have to talk about the Yoga Sutras to him. It won't help him. I got to release the pain. So I will tell him whatever is necessary for that particular individual. So the guru has to be versatile. That's what I would say. Guru will have to be versatile, should be able to find out the need of the student and then appropriately teach them. Does it I don't know.
Can I follow up question on the guru?
Yes.
So I do have a teacher.
Yes.
Very happy with my teacher.
Okay, good.
Been practicing for 3 years. But I'm in search of a guru. How, from your experiences, how could you guide me and I'm sure many others into how to find
Yeah, that is why nowadays, in the olden days, it is possible for you to go to one guru and get everything you want. But now what you want all depends upon your interest. Supposing you are more interested in the philosophy of it, you try to go to. Thank you. You try to go to somebody. Who's got they may not have the same kind of knowledge about the asanas, but they will be able to explain to you the Yoga Sutras. Okay. So it is. We have to find now in the modern context. We have to find more than one guru. If you are able to find somebody, for me, I was fortunate. I was able to find a guru. He was able to give more than what I need. I didn't even ask him. He'll say, "This is what you need to know." So it all depends upon the. There is nothing wrong in going to another guru if you are going to going to study a slightly different subject. Yeah. When should children be introduced to yoga? This is normally about 5 to 6 years, but then it's a very controversial. Some people say that unless one is a teenager, you should not introduce. But if you look at the olden days, the kids were asked to do pranayama when they were 5 years old. Are you familiar with the Upanayana in the olden days? Upanayana, they used to initiate into. Olden days, they used to initiate at 5 years, and they were required to do pranayama, 10 pranayama in the morning, 10 noon, 10 in the evening, the other samidhadana, up to 60 pranayamas they were required to do. And then what is the pranayama that they do? They inhale, hold the breath, and then silently chant the mantra. So that means it requires enormous control. So kids at the age of 5 are able to become some kind of yogis. But nowadays we can't do that, so maybe around 10, 11 years old you can start with serious yoga practice. But even earlier, if the children watch you doing and then if they do along with you, don't try to stop them. But don't at the same time, don't try to force them into yoga practice. If you practice slowly, they will develop interest, and by the time they start yoga in a formal way, they would have known quite a lot of things. When there is back pain or knee pain due to some pathology, most of the asanas become out of bounds. How does yoga play a role? See, that is why you need a teacher who will be able to take your condition into account and then suggest different yoga practices. Okay. For instance, we got knee pain and all that. One of the things that can be helpful are the inversions. Inversion, the Sarvangasana and Shirsasana. If you can't do Shirsasana, Sarvangasana, again you can go near the wall, keep your legs up, and then allow the whole body to relax. So when your body is upside, this is one of the what you call most important innovations of yoga are the inversions. In inversion, what happens? There in every joint there is a superior aspect, there is an inferior aspect. Inferior aspect is the lower bone, the upper bone which is on top. So in your what you call inversion, what happens? The whole thing changes. So if you allow the body to relax for a while, then there will be the ocular space. They slightly becomes more, and over a period of time you will be able to get a lot of relief in this. But only thing is you must start very early. Don't wait until it becomes unbearable and then start blaming yoga. If you start, that is why in the olden days the inversions were very important. Inversions and pranayama and paschimottanasana were considered to be very important. There's no other system which gives you this this kind of exercise. This inversions are there. When you stay in, that's why you got to stay there for sufficiently long time. Say about 3 minutes or 5 minutes or even 10 minutes. The whole body relaxes. Then there is the joint stretches in the opposite direction, and then in that position there are a number of vinyasas. You spread your legs, you bend your knee. There are so many other vinyasas that are possible. So these are some of the ways by which you will be able to, of course, if it's very acute, you can't do that. But what I'm trying to say is, the moment you start finding that there is some arthritis problem or joint problem, immediately start practicing some of these things. So it will at least, prolong, the onset of arthritis will be, will become delayed. Again, so far as therapy is concerned, you must try to find out the condition of an individual and then treat accordingly. There is nothing like a standard answer for that. What is the best time to practice yoga? The best time to practice yoga is early in the morning, the first thing in the morning. In fact, even people who go and do their morning walk, they say, the teacher used to say that you practice your yoga and then do whatever you want to do. First of all, complete it, because that normalizes the body, the inversions and all that, plus your pranayama, the mind is in a better condition. So you can start the day's work. So if you can do it in the morning. If you can't do it in the morning, yes, it is better to do it in the evening rather than completely skipping the practice. There are very different styles. What would you say is the best indicator whether a practitioner practice is good for you? Again, if you are merely interested in asana practice, yes, you learn a different system, try to find out the system that is most suitable for you, you can do that. But if you want to go beyond your asana practice, then you got to shop around, try to find out what else. Spend some time. If you want to buy an apartment, what will you do? You go around, see few places. Likewise here also, you must try to find out which system is more suitable for me. You try to find out the best system for you, and then you can practice. Is it okay to practice yoga along with muscle building exercises? Yeah, of course. If you privately ask me, I will say it is not okay. But in fact, yes. There is a muscle building exercises are called what do you call kaya klesha. Kaya klesha. Yoga. What do you call? it's a bit painful. Do you agree with that? Or when you raise, when you do the weight lifting and all that, yes, stretching is good. When you do a lot of weight lifting and build muscles, So the Hatha Yoga Pradipika says that Kaya Klesha, yogi should avoid Kaya. Yogi, who is a yogi? Yogi is somebody who wants to do asanas, pranayama, meditation, go into the philosophy and all. If that is my goal, then I should not be spending a lot of time trying to build my body. I should do exercises so that I will be healthy. That's my goal. Is bodybuilding going to make me healthier? I don't know. So they say in that Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Kaya Klesha, one should not. If you strain yourself too much, there is very little time for you to meditate. You are going to feel tired. You are going to, because more and more physical exercises will bring in tamas rather than sattva. So there should be moderation in everything. I should moderately do physical exercises. If I do moderate physical exercises, rajas comes down. If I do pranayama, tamas comes down. Then I shall be able to sit down and meditate. So a proper mix of asana and pranayama is necessary. So if you are very serious about yoga, maybe a little bit of weight lifting here and there, it's okay. But then don't make it into a, if you want to compete as a weightlifting champion, then yoga is not exactly the kind of discipline that you should look for. Okay, and then that's what it says in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. There is a Kaya Klesham Varjayet. Completely avoid, straining yourself too much. And then they give the example. The commentator, Brahmananda says there are two. Gives example. One is the Bahu Bhara Vahanam. Bahu means a lot. Bhara means weight. Vahanam, carrying a lot of weight, should not be done by a yoga practitioner. The other thing you should not do, Bahu Surya Namaskara. Surya Namaskara, the weight is done, they jump, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, jump forward, back. People do 108 times. He says you avoid that. It only increases the heart rate, It's a good cardio exercise, but it is not a good yogic exercise. Yogic exercise is supposed to reduce the heart rate. Don't put strain on your heart. My teacher used to repeatedly say, don't put strain on your heart. You got to protect your heart. You got to do, yoga should be there to help your heart, not to strain the heart. Whatever activity the heart is doing, you try to help its function by yogic exercise. Like what? Like doing good breathing, doing the inversions. They are all things that are going to help the heart do its functions better. Is it okay to practice yoga? Is it advisable to do, pranayama
after rigorous physical exercise?
Yes, that's what I say. When you do very rigorous exercises, sometimes what happens, it takes a lot of time for the heart to become normal. You have to take a lot of. That is why my teacher used to say, first do your yoga, then do anything else you want to. If you do a lot of physical exercises, come back, the quality is not the same. So the first thing they got to do is do your yoga practice and then do whatever you want to do. Yeah. How do you tackle a student who comes to your class with a condition? I only want to stretch, I don't want to do pranayama or chant. Do you turn him away, or do you accept and allow and teach this is all, you can, sometimes it all depends upon, sometimes what you do is you teach whatever they want, and then after some time, that's what happened with my guru also. I told you, many people came with a specific condition. I want this, okay, he will teach this. They won't even know what he could teach. That's the problem. If you tell what you want, that's my teacher told me one, I went to, can I take a couple of minutes to tell you a short story? Have you heard of Mahesh Yogi? Transcendental meditation. First, before he started this huge, the movement, he first came to Madras. Rajaji Hall, where the new hospital is there. Rajaji Hall, there was a meeting and a number of people. I and my father went there, and then he spoke very well, very, very charming, And then next day I went to my class. We used to, Deshkacharma used to have some common classes. I told Deshkachar, I went for this meeting, and then it was very nice and all that. So next day when I went to my class, to my guru, he promptly told me, you see, if you keep on going around, shopping around, then what happens is, I will have to do a lot more work to remove your, misconceptions. I know what you want. You are not asking me what you want. I know what you need. I can give you what you need. Why don't you just learn and then practice? Don't start running around. And from that time onwards, I didn't start. I didn't go anywhere else. So sometimes the guru is able to take complete charge of you and then help you out. Sometimes what they do is, if you need something, you give them whatever you want. And then sometimes after they get, so there are asthmatic people who come to practice yoga. After they practice yoga, they feel relief. Asthma is, what do you call it? Always your mind is with your breathing. After some time you are able to breathe properly, what happens? You start getting interested in yoga more and more. What else is there? So you don't have to force. People will start. That's why yogena yogo jnatavyaha. Yoga will tell you what else you have got to do. Right? Right, thank you. Still they have 10 minutes.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions.
Which is better, clubbing asana, pranayama, meditation, one session or separate session? It all depends upon the time you have. It is better, best is to keep all the three in one time slot. In fact, half an hour asana, in half an hour asana, what is needed is, some will be dynamic, some will be static. Dynamic movements, vinyasas you will do. This is static. What are the static asanas that you have got to do on a daily basis? Headstand, shoulder stand, Paschimottanasana, Mahamudra, these are this. So in each, suppose you are able to spend about 5 minutes or so, and spend another 10-15 minutes on the movements, then you have done a good job. You have done a good practice. Then sit down and do your pranayama for about 10-15 minutes, and finally you should sit in Shanmukhi Mudra or do some chanting or close your eyes if you know meditation.